Hi, my name is Sarah Dickinson, and I'm the Director of Adult Spiritual Formation here at FPC Douglasville. And I'm super excited about our new series, Cultivate Depth. We're going to be having combined classes on Sunday mornings, and we just had our first one this past Sunday, where we're going to meet together and learn about classic spiritual practices and the way that we can open ourselves up to God. When I was thinking about how to kind of share very briefly what a spiritual practice is and the impact it can have on our lives, I remember this quote from Aaron Nyquist, and I wanted to read it to you. God is constantly, eternally pouring out blessing and grace upon us, every one of us, without limit or condition. The only question is if we are open to receive it. We can't earn this waterfall of grace and should never even try, but we absolutely have a role in learning how to let it drench us. We can't make the river flow, but we must get into the water. We can't make the vine grow, but we need to set up a wise trellis. We can't make the wind blow, but we must learn to raise the sails. It's all God's work, of course, but our humble, active consent frees us to get carried along. The invitation is participation. We want to invite you to participate in God's grace as we explore these practices. And the spiritual practices are not for those who are super advanced spiritually. They're for all of us in our ordinary lives, our everyday ways of being. And it's been really fruitful in my life to explore these, and I'm excited and feel convicted to explore them more deeply myself this year. And I hope that this will be a really great adventure and cultivation for us. So this past week, Marlene Whitlock came as our guest speaker, and she shared with us about just an introduction to spiritual disciplines and how they can be meaningful in our lives. And she gave us 3 suggestions for different practices that we can cultivate awareness as a spiritual practice. So you should have that handout. If you don't have that handout, you can find it on our explicit Cultivate Depth website that we'll be posting in a link on this video. But she introduced 3 different practices, and I wanted to highlight one of those practices. It's a simple thing that you can do on your phone, on your lunch break, or in the carpool line, or when you first get out of bed in the morning, or if you have a hymnal around, you could even use that. But it's looking at a hymn that kind of represents God's creation, the beauty of God's creation. There are a couple that stand out to me. How great thou art, this is my Father's world, all creatures of our God and King. And I wanted to read to you the first verse of This is my Father's world. This is my Father's world, and to my listening ears all nature sings, and round me rings the music of the spheres. This is my Father's world, I rest me in the thought of rocks and trees, of skies and seas, his hand the wonders wrought. I want to encourage you to sit with the hymn that you choose. Let it kind of sink in. It's beautiful poetry. The hymns offer us such a beautiful picture of God. So sit with that hymn and let it kind of wash over you. You might even pull up a YouTube song that you could listen to the hymn being sung and spend a couple moments in contemplation of God's amazing creation, of God's wonder and his creativity that is all around us. And let that raise your awareness to how he is at work in the world all the time, all around us. It's amazing that God is always here. And so I want to encourage you to engage in that practice. It might take 5 minutes, it might take 10. You might find yourself spending a little bit more time and exploring more hymns or trying some of the other exercises. But we want these to be beautiful, holy experiments that we can do in cultivating our faith together. So I hope that you'll give it a try. We hope to see you next Sunday as we explore our first spiritual practice in depth together, and that's prayer. So we'd hope to see you there as we can cultivate our faith together this year.